Now, former Botswana President Ian Khama says that his life is still in danger in that country, but he insists that he will soon be going back. Khama has been in South Africa for some time now. He's facing at least 38 charges alongside an ex-intelligence chief, a former police commissioner, and an ex-deputy secretary. My colleague, that's eNCA reporter Govan Whittles, following that story for us. He's joining us now live, having seen Ian Khama earlier and interviewed him. Govan, welcome. Thank you very much for your time. Ian Khama in South Africa for some time now, and he's planning to return to the country, said, anytime soon.
Yes, he is planning to return to the country, Bradan, and he's made a number of other statements in this address, which was principally about conservation within Botswana. And Ian Khama, the former president of Botswana, a known conservationist, someone who introduced significant laws while he was president of Botswana. They include, of course, the ban on hunting. He also sectioned off a section of his country for a nature reserve and said that while he was president, at least towards the end of his term, the entire country had essentially become a nature reserve. And he used that as a springboard to launch this attack on his successor, the man that he picked, President Masisi. He says that President Masisi was a good actor, that he was fooled by President Masisi while he was a deputy president to Ian Khama. But now Ian Khama making it clear that he has intentions to work with the people of Botswana to make sure President Masisi is removed from office as the president of Botswana. And I spoke to him about going back to Botswana. Of course, Khama being here since 2021. He fled in November, saying that he believed his life was in danger, that he had evidence that his life was in danger in South Africa. We had earlier pressed the South Africa president, Cyril Ramaphosa, to comment on the status of Ian Khama in South Africa. And he clarified that he didn't believe the former Botswana president is a refugee here. He was described as a guest. Former President Thabo Mbeki also describing Ian Khama as a guest in South Africa who should be treated properly and protected at all costs. But today, Ian Khama revealing to eNCA that he plans to go back to Botswana and that he has big plans for his country and his countrymen. Let's take a look.
I will be returning to Botswana sooner rather than later.
When will that be?
I'm not going to say that either, because I did mention the threats that have been made on my life and what the intentions are to do to me. And therefore, there's a group of three groups, Botswana, here, and overseas, who are constantly monitoring the situation, who advise me on when they think it will be safe to do so.
Right now, do you believe that your life is still under threat in Botswana?
I have no doubt about it.
Wow, he's fearing for his life, Govan, but he shared some future plans with you.
He did indeed, obviously planning to go back to Botswana, but clarifying what he believes his political strategy will be once he gets back to Botswana. The Botswana president saying that he'll be working with candidates to contest for the position of president of Botswana. He didn't mention who that candidate would be. Perhaps a hint would be the fact that the former Botswana president was traveling with his brother today, the former Minister of Environment in Ian Khama's cabinet, and they're clearly working closely together. And Ian Khama, of course, having founded an opposition party after Masisi took over as president of the BDP, and also Ian Khama, the former president, congratulating other opposition parties who beat the BDP in by-elections before doing that. But let's take a look now at what Ian Khama had to say about his future plans and what exactly he meant when he said he has a responsibility to the people of Botswana to ensure that President Masisi is removed from office.
It will be for the people of Botswana to decide who they want to vote as their candidate to take over the take over the presidency. And when I talk about how we're going about it, we have an election in 2024. And that is how we are going to do it. Nothing illegal, nothing unconstitutional. Remove them through the ballot box. And we've had a number of by-elections this year in the country, the most we've had in this sort of short period of time, because during COVID, they were not going to obviously allow campaigning. So we've had a whole lot of by-elections now, at which his party has done extremely badly. And even now as we speak, they're having an elective Congress in the south of the country, and some of his own people in the party, people who are former ministers, former members of parliament, who are intending to stand against his preferred people, has spoken out about the harassment and the threats they are getting, and two even talked about threats to their lives. So that just shows you the situation that we're in now in Botswana. Unprecedented, has never happened before.